sorry we've been absent for a while.
Yeah, it's been
We've had a lot on our plate, man. But yeah, the main hold up on the build has just been parts, man. So today we're going to show you some of the parts that have arrived. We still, believe it or not, don't have all the parts to finish the job at hand, but we can't wait any longer, man. We need to get this car on all four wheels, so we can get the engine in, so we can start mocking up things like the turbo kit and all of that. So what we're going to do, we're going to substitute the parts that are missing with our old parts, our used parts, until those parts arrive, and then we'll just switch them in. If you haven't seen what's on the floor already, we have the rear subframe and the front subframe. So because it's not really a track car, not a street car, we're going straight to the drag strip. We're going to be doing solid mounts. So these basically connect the subframe to the body. In a standard car, I don't have a rubber one available, but this aluminium piece is normally rubber with a metal insert, and that allows just for a little bit of movement. So your subframe almost like floats under the chassis. That's obviously to help with comfort and noise of the road and all of that. So as you can imagine now, without those rubber dampeners taking up the vibration and the noise, the car is very noisy inside. So that's why street cars have rubber dampeners. We are going to use solid mounts. These were provided by HGK. They've actually supplied us, same guys who did the steering rack for us and the dash. All right, so as you can see, we've had the subframes powder coated in our purple color that we like so much.
Shout out to Wheelworks for that one.
Yeah, literally just across the road from us. Nice
big up
guys,
Wheelworks. If you ever want anything done by wheels, they're good.
Okay, let's stay on the rear suspension for now. So this is our rear suspension. This I bought this over a year ago, knowing what I was going to do with it. So basically, AKG Motorsport. So yeah, these guys did the rear suspension on my E82. There's a lot going on here, man.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can make sense of all of this. Right. So basically, in a drag car, this is the subframe. This holds our differential and our side shafts that power our big drag tires, our big drag wheels, which are connected to the hubs. So in a drag car, because we're using what's called an independent rear suspension. So basically that means each wheel can move independently up and down, back and forth, independently from each other. So as you can imagine, a drag car, it only has one job, it's to go straight. This type of suspension is more for your street cars and circuit cars. So when you see drag cars, they usually have what's called a live axle or straight axle, which we're not using. We're using independent rear suspension. But to simulate like a live axle or a straight axle, we have all these arms here which allow us to set this stub axle or bearing carrier, depending where you're from. So we can set different angles on this, toe in, toe out, caster camber and all of that, and that'll help us to basically control the back end of the car, because there's so much power going to the back of the car on a drag strip. You don't only steer with the front, depending how the car squats and pulls off and how all the energy is generated and transferred into the chassis and into the wheels, this stub axle will actually start changing angles and stuff like that. So we want to be able to control this consistently and safely. So sometimes you'll get things like wheel hop, which is basically the tire shakes and it can just destroy everything in the driveline. So we want to be able to avoid things like that. And that's where this comes into play. So these guys actually do a rear dampener. So what this guy's job is, he's going to dictate how fast we compress and how fast we come back in. So as you can see, it reacts like a normal dampener or shock absorber. So basically, as the car squats, this will stop the car from just slamming down as the weight transfers to the back tires. So we can control how quick the car sits down or squats, and then how it reacts as we start accelerating. So how the rear end gets pushed back down into the tarmac, or how the body comes off our driveline. So this is a very, very good piece of kit. This is I don't think it would be possible to go mid-8s or low 8s if you don't have something like this. We're talking about taking this car 60 foot in under 1.2 seconds. 0 to 60 is going to be, I would say, 2 seconds or less. So we need something to help us drive those wheels into the ground without letting them hop or bounce or distort too much. So yeah, that's our rear suspension pretty much explained. So before anyone grills us, so yes, I know you can see the box, it's the cheapest coilover you can buy on the market. Look, the reason we bought these coilovers, we need to get the height of the car right. And the only way we're going to do that, rears. So the only way we're going to do that, because we have to do custom springs back and front, and we're going to be doing a custom front suspension, I'm shooting a little bit in the dark with springs or coils. So I opted to buy the cheapest coilovers I could get on the market, and this was literally just to so we could get our ride heights and everything correct before we buy the proper springs that we want to use. So this just has an adjuster in it. This will allow us to bring the bodywork down. So as you can see, nice and cheap and nasty, but it will do the job. So we'll be able to get our ride heights dialed in once the car's at full weight, and then we can measure the poundage that we need for the compression on the shock absorber or a dampener, depending where you're from. And then yeah, we'll order the right stuff. Basically we can't use this. This is for the street. This is way too stiff. I don't think this is very good quality either. So you can imagine 1,000 plus horsepower pushing down on this, all the weight. It's not going to last very long. But anyways, so to show you the difference between a 200 quid full suspension, or I don't know what that costs. What did these coilovers cost? 200 or 300
£300 for the entire
300
box.
quid for the whole box.
Front springs, front whatever they are, arms, front shocks, rear springs, rear shocks, everything. £300.
Okay. So as Louis said,
bargain. Everyone should go buy them.
Bargain. Look, for what it is, if you want to lower your car, sweet, do that. But don't expect to get race car performance in the corners with something like that.
Or comfort.
Yeah, well, there's no comfort.
So
you get what you pay
out
for.
of curiosity, these or lowering springs,
Oh, lowering springs.
but they're the same price as lowering springs.
Yeah, but just get lowering springs because you don't know the quality of the dampener. This dampener could pop in one go.
Okay.
And then you're riding home with a bouncing wheel. So 4 of these for 200 quid or 300 quid, whatever it costs, or one of these, I think it's about 500 to 600 quid for one, fully adjustable. So if we try, so you can see, I mean, it didn't take much. Look how slow it comes back out.
Real time.
Yeah, this is shit. So you can imagine if we had to pull off at the drag strip, then she would squat quite quickly. So we'd bottom out straight away, we'd knock the tires off, and then as we're accelerating down the track, it's not really applying much force from the body to the lowest suspension to drive the wheel. So yeah, that's pretty shit. And obviously all the little bumps, every time there's a little bump in the track or a weight shift in the car, that's how it reacts. I mean, that's shit. When we've got something like this, I mean, we can fully dial this in, how soft we want it, how hard we want it. So if I had to turn it all the way hard, rebound as well. Yeah. You can actually hear the oil transferring. You can soften it up.
Gives you the ability to fine tune your suspension and
Yeah. Look how nice that is.
really make the car.
So we can control this much better. So yeah, that's the difference between, I don't know, what would you call that?
I'd say that's probably what, £50 a shock?
Yeah, 50 versus
£50
500.
versus 500, yeah.
Yeah, 50 versus 500. Front suspension, this is the front subframe. This basically holds the engine up. This is where the engine mounts would go. Again, lovely purple color, powder coated, so that should last a lifetime. Engine mounts will sit over here, engine block and everything will sit over here. This is where it mounts to the body, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're all sorted there. And now for front suspension. So again, I explained to you about this crap we bought just to get our ride heights and everything done. So basically, you saw the rear dampeners. So the problem is there are no off-the-shelf options for 1 Series BMWs. That one is actually for a Mustang. which has been adapted to work for BMWs. So now, because we're going to be kind of building our own front suspension, I need to basically measure all of this up, get the right height, get the compression and everything correct. And basically the job for these things on a race car, or a drag car, sorry, not a race car, on a drag car. So when there's a weight transfer, so when we launch, we want all the weight to go controlled to the back wheels, bury the back wheels in the tarmac and send us on our way. The problem is the front end. If we have a shock absorber that is too slow to react, basically we could end up wheeling the car, which looks cool, but it's not what you want. So we want the wheels to stay in contact with the ground, because if the wheels are in contact with the ground, we can still steer. If you're doing wheelies, you're not steering, and when you come down from a wheelie, you're going to damage a lot of things. So basically we want a shock absorber that can come out very quickly, and then as we're changing gears, or as the aerodynamics start taking effect on the car, it will dampen the front of the car correctly. Also stops any if there's any bumps on the track or anything like that. We want something that we can control. So we want something that we can set how stiff it is, how soft it is, and obviously the height. So depending on the day, we might be on a day where there's very good traction, then we don't need to put so much weight on the back of the car. So basically the cars have ballast, so you can basically move the weight between the front and the back and somewhere in the middle to change your center of gravity of the vehicle. And because of that, you're going to need an adjustable front end. So yeah, these basically go with the set of top mounts. I think it's in there. Ah, there we go. Top mounts.
I can cut that.
They're actually pretty cool looking, to be fair.
You know what? I always say cheap and nasty. You get what you paid for. But as cheap as these were, how much were these things, Tom?
£160, I think, delivered.
160 quid. I mean, it's cheap, but these things are well built from what we can see, and this amount of adjustability that we have on them, this suits our needs perfectly, man. I think the only other option for F series is
the Millways
and BC. Or BC comes with the coilover, isn't it? But Millways, the price of Millway, it's too expensive, man.
How much a mill was?
No.
Could way more than that. Okay, so that'll go on. Okay, so the purpose of this now, so we're talking about the adjustability of going up and down. Now we have adjustability of going in and out, and then we can also turn this plate a little bit. We can abuse the caster angle. This is connected to the stub axle, this over here, and the stub axle is wheel bearing, and then wheel bearing to the wheel. So for now, pretend the stub axle is there. So what this is all going to control is how much this sits in or out, and then how it reacts when the weight is off of it, if it sits like that. And so basically what happens now, we'll probably set into a negative camber or slightly negative. So when we launch and there's a weight transfer, all the weight goes to the back, the car then, the front of the car comes up, and then our tires will come straight. So the reason we want the tires dead straight when we've got all our weight on the back is so that we have good steering. We want to keep the car shooting straight as possible. If we have any funny cambers or any kind of toe or something that's wrong, as soon as the car weight transfers to the back, the car could shoot off left or right, and you're going to sit the whole day scratching your head as to why the hell does my car keep going right? Because you're not turning the steering wheel. The wheels are turning because they're reacting to the weight shift and how the body's moving. We're talking about the wheel going in and out. We've also got some more kit, and this kit's now going to do the bottom of the wheel. So
Freshy fresh.
So this connected to the stub axle or bearing carrier, that controls this one, like that. And then this one, this is the lower one, it's from a company SPL out in Texas. We're going to modify this a little bit. Let's see, this fits at the bottom of the stub axle, and this allows us to pull the inside of the wheel in and out.
Mad thick. It's a viscous boy.
Viscous?
Jesus, yeah. Thick.
Do you know the meaning of the word viscous?
Yeah, thick.
Okay.
Just usually used to describe liquids that are thick.
Okay, there we go. Then why did you use it in such a weird context?
Because it's funny.
Okay. Is that more of that street slang stuff again?
Yeah.
The zesty stuff?
Nah, what you need to say is
zesty.
What's our word for the day for Chris? Suck your mum was one, wasn't it? That was the.
I know what that means, Louis. That's disgusting.
Oh, another good one is a fat one.
That's
That
you
one's
speak in English
bare
now. I
obvious.
can kind of figure out what that means. You
We
had
need
stupid
slang.
things like you're saying dumb things.
What about Bristol cities?
So is that a town?
No, say you love Bristol cities.
No, because you told me to say that zesty thing and people were laughing at me in public. So I'm not saying that. What does it mean?
Bristol cities is like some sort of northern slang for titties.
How the f did you get titties to Bristol?
Bristol cities, titties. Is it Cockney? No, it's not Cockney rhyming slang, is it? It's something weird.
I ain't gonna lie, I've never heard that in my life, though.
I think he's just making up random now.
No, this is serious, bro. I'm telling you.
I've never heard that.
This exists. Anyway, right, yeah.
Bristol cities equal titties.
Titties. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
That
So
sounds better.
pretty thick, pretty sick. I quite like it. It looks quite nice.
Yeah, we've got full adjustability. So these work in conjunction with each other. And the stub axle. Proper piece of kit. I'll focus on the subframes, prepping the mounts. Tom, if you can smash that steering rack, get it cleaned, and let's get a lick of paint on that as well. And then yeah, we can install the front end and get our car back on 4 wheels. Let's do this.
Tommy T's the resident strongman.
My knees hurt.
He's got it.
Nah.
Okay, he doesn't got it. Okay, I'll lift it.
Close a
You
bit.
told me
No.
to smash it.
Yeah, but say clean it.
We tried. We need to cut.
They're gonna have to clean the track after every time I do a run because there's gonna be glass all over the
We
place.
need to cut the insides out to clean it.
Okay.
Get the angle grinder out.
Who installed this door? Was it half job Louis again?
You literally hit me in the tip. What the fuck?
Put the rod down.
What was that? Sounded like someone just pulled a handbrake in the car park.
Fuck, I'm just waffling again, isn't I? We lowered the car and the butt just stayed in the air, the front came down like it was supposed to. So we need to measure our suspension, and like I told you, you get what you paid for. So that 200 quid or 300 quid suspension kit we bought, that was its lowest setting. So we've cut them in half now, so we're going to bring the car down by about 120 mils, and then we can take proper measurements and have proper coils made. So this is just temporary, don't worry, I'm not going to do 170 mile an hour with cut springs in the back. Maybe if I was younger. Installation's complete. We've got back suspension, front suspension done. I'm sure you'll see that the car looks amazing.
Yeah, it's looking pretty wild.
So you can see the back wheel is actually sitting too far back. Obviously we just fitted everything and got our ride height correct. We haven't done adjustments, final adjustments, so we'll be able to move this whole wheel forward and then be able to turn its angle and cast the camber and all of that. So yeah, I just did a quick rough set just so we could get the car down, get it outside so that you guys could see it.
Yeah.
Front wheel sitting perfect.
Front wheels are sweet.
Yeah, I don't think we'll touch much of that.
Still a bit of adjustments here, but you know,
yeah.
subframes in, looking nice.
What you see about this wheel? This wheel's
Yeah, the camber's a bit mad. I can't
it's
lie.
not too bad.
The camber's wild, but
Yeah, looking good. Yeah, she's looking nice.
but yeah. Right, what's next, Chrissy G? What's
Oh
next?
shit, next. What else? Oh, we've done all the new steering as well. We've got fresh steering rack ends, tie rod ends. So everything's done there now. So we finished with our steering. Suspension, we're 90%. So now we can speak to the manufacturer about a front coil and strut, and then we can do same for the back. You saw us cut the springs, so the coils. So it looks like we'll have a set of coils made to that size. Poundage wise, I think we're actually going to make it quite light, because while we were dropping the car and picking it up, we actually noticed how much resistance the shock absorber gave us, the dampener. So very impressed. That dampener was rock solid. We couldn't get the back of the car down. So I think we'll use our spring. I don't know, we'll have a look, but I think we'll start off with a soft coil for now. Next up, so gearbox arrived. You can see the package down there. So that's going to be the next video, talking about gearbox, what we're going to do about the gearbox. Obviously we made a decision already.
Yeah, we made the decision, but alright, well I'm gonna cut it here. I got 1%.
1% again.
Yeah, bro.
Did the video, isn't it?
That's the end. That's the end. Tommy T, what you got to say?
One ab.
Show us your one ab, Chris.
No, I've got 4 now.
Alright, well that's it. Suspension done, we're all happy. It's 5 o'clock, so we're gonna all home. And yeah, see you later.
It's fine.